Hi everyone, my name is Diego, and in this video we're going to integrate all the others exercise that we made in the others videos. So in this video we're going to integrate the unit tests with the quality configurations and with the automatic tests, all in one single execution. So this is an example and how would be a continuous integration process. So first we need here in Jenkins to install some plugins. So here in the manage Jenkins option, you can go here in manage plugins, and well, now I have already installed these plugins, but let me show you which are these plugins. You need a sonar quality gates plugins and sonar scanner that we installed in other videos, and we need performance plugins in order to run our automatic tests. With these two plugins installed, we need to configure the quality gates sonar. So it's really simple. You can go here to manage Jenkins and configure system. Here we're going to put all the domain and in which we have installed SolarCube. So in this case is my Docker IP. So here at the end of this configuration, let me see, you have this option, quality gates SolarCube. So you can put a name, what is the domain and the port for this in which SolarCube is running, and the credential or the token to access SolarCube that we see saw this before in other video. I'm going to translate that video because that video is in Spanish, and no more than that. Then we can start configuring our continuous integration process. So I have one here already done, so we're going to start it again, a new task. So we choose a freestyle project and we're going to put a name. Could be, for example, freestyle all, could be a good name. And here well, we're going to put a description, quality gates, performance test. Here, as we saw in other videos, we need to here to keep a limit in the number of days in order to keep our disks with few executions. And here we're going to put the repository URL. So I'm going to use this, that I have this already done in order to keep this video shorter. So this is a repo. I'm going to put this repository in the description. It could be any repository. This is the branch, and here we need, for example, here to add a new step. So the most simple way to add a step is to add a shell command. For example, here we need to run composer install in one command, composer install. Then we need, for example, other step to run the unit test. Let me hit. You have this in vendor bin php unit, and the folder is test. Let me verify, use second. Composer install here, yes. And well, we have more steps, but now we want to test this first part. So we're going to save this and we're going to execute this project. Well, because this is the first time, I think this is going to take a while, so I'm going to pause the video maybe, yes, because it's going to take a while the first time it installed Composer. So let me pause the video. Well, here we have this first step executed as we see in other videos, but now we are going to force an error in this step in order to see what happened. So here for example, this is the repository. We can here for example maybe here in this folder we're going. I was making some tests with this file, so I'm going to edit it here because it's a really simple change that I'm going to put. For example, this is a public function. I'm going to change this to private because it is implementing an interface, so we need that this method must be public. So here we are forcing an error. Let me commit this change, and here we're going to run again this same Jenkins. This same Jenkins job. So here is the second execution, and we have the error that is saying that this method must be public. No? So I'm going to change this method again to public. I'm editing this file directly in GitLab because we have the control of this process, and it is not. I am not using this in production. This example, so I can do this directly on GitLab. And we're going to run again this job. Here we're going to, as you can see now, it's running really fast because the first execution has already downloaded the vendor file, and there is no error. So this is the first step. Now we're going to add some quality controls. So we need to execute a sonar scanner. So let me copy this. That is only the configuration for the sonar project. I'm going to put that in the description. So we're going to add another step that is execute SolarCube scanner, and here we need to put the properties. We need to put a name here. For example, could be the project key. Could be, for example, let me change this to one because I had already done this name, and that is all. We're going to save it, and well, we need to add another step in order to check the execution of these quality gates. So we're going to add another step. Also, we can here at the top we have this tab that is post executed actions. So here we can add another step that is quality gates. So here this had an error. Quality gates on the plugin. Let me check what happened here, because I think I made a mistake here in the configuration for this execution. Let me check. Is this is running again? Yes, this is running. And let me check this again. Quality is not working. Let me check. I don't know if I have to run this one time. Let me execute this. I don't know if I changed something in the configuration. Well, here it's analyze everything. and we don't have any errors. But in this here I'm not analyzing the results from sonar scanner. So let me check here what happens. So we need to add here another step. I think I made a mistake. I think I used this option and not this other option. Yes, that was the mistake I made. I used the wrong button. Let me copy this. This is the project key, and when we're going to choose what is the fail status when the quality gates fail. So in my case, I'm going to use fail. I'm going to save this. I'm going to run again this job, and now it is evaluating the quality gates. So let me check. Yes. Well, now we don't have any errors. So we're going to force an error that we can't catch only with a unit test. So I'm going to put a really simple error. For example, here I'm going to use a genetic exception. So for example, like this, and an unused variable. For example, here exception and I'm going to throw a genetic exception. Actually, this is not an error, but is an issue in the quality of our code, no? In the quality, I'm going to commit this. Because first we are not using this variable, so this is dead code, and second because we are using a generic exception. So we are going to run again this job. Let me check. The status is post. If we run this again, we will get an error here. So let's see if we don't want to wait until this process. We can, we have here 2 new code smells. But for example, we can see anything in our unit test. So we need to add more controls. It's not only with unit test. So here we have an error in our quality gates. So for example, if we come back here we have the status of the execution in Sonar, and here we can see what are the errors. First, we have an unused variable, a variable that is not used, and here we have a generic exception. So I'm not going to put a customized exception because I'm not using this code. So we're going to remove only this part and keep as removing the code. So we're going to execute this again, and let's see what happened. Here we have a success execution. We can click here this link if we don't want to wait until the process finish, and now we don't have any issues. We can see here the graph in which we solve all the issues, and all the quality gates pass. So now in this job we are checking the unit test and quality control. So let me add another common error in the quality of our control. For example, we're going to increase the complexity of this method. For example, let me use another variable like this, and we're going to add a lot of nested ifs. Let me just write some nonsense code like this. Let me add a lot of ifs. Let me add this. It's only to show you the error. That this doesn't have any sense, but is only to illustrate the error. So let me check 1, 2, 3, 4. We need a little few more, because when you have a lot of nested if, that is really hard to maintain. So that is the quality gate that we're going to test. So let me add a few more here, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another one. Code. So code. That could be, this could be real code. For example, you have some really complicated condition to evaluate, but now we're going to put this code. I think with this we have enough. This is the last if. Let me check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think with this we have enough to for the error. We're going here, and let me write here another more. Another more here, another more here. Here, and another more here. I think with this we have enough. Yes, we're going to commit this, and we're going to run again the quality controls. As you can see, this is not a real error, and we are not affecting the user. So these kind of errors are really hard to detect, and the goal of have all of this quality control is to keep our code maintainable. So here, for example, we have an error in the quality gates. So we're going to check, and it's probably gonna to tell us that we have a really complex code. For example, here we have an issue because we have a lot of if, and this is all the same. So this is one issue, but I'm going to show you, for example, the cognitive complexity of this method. So this method now is really hard to maintain because have a lot of nested if, and this going Sonar is telling us that we need to refactor this method. So this is another metric that Sonar check for us. And well, here we're going to simply remove this code because we don't need this code. But for example, we could put this in another method or move this to another, I don't know, class, depending on what is the responsibility of this logic here. but now we're going to remove this and we're going to remove the quality gate error. And we're going to execute this again. And well, in order to keep the video shorter, if you want, you can test these quality gates in your house. And also, if you want to get customized gates, you can do this also in Sonar. Sorry. And now we have a successful execution. For example, here the quality control, we don't have any errors. And for example, here in Sonar, you can log in Sonar, and you can customize, for example, your quality gates control. It's really simple. It's here in quality gates, and for example, you can create a new one. You can put a name, for example, my custom quality gates. You can save this, and here you can add new condition, for example, overall code or only on new code. That is your choice. For example, cognitive complexity, cyclomatic complexity, that was the thing we was talking in the first video. We were talking in the first video, and you had a lot of condition. And for example, I don't know, you can put duplicated lines, duplicate blocks. You can check a lot of quality gates here, for example. See, if we have more than 1% of duplicated lines, this is going to send us an error. So, well, we have a unit test, we have quality gates, and now we're going to add the automatic test. So this is really simple. We need to add another step, and here in this repository, I will add it here in the test folder, JMeter. First is the test that we made in another video, that we built in another video, and here is the configuration that we need for the performance test. So Taurus is a performance tool that we are going to use to run our automatic test. So here is the path to your JMeter script, and here, for example, are the what are the conditions you need to pass in order to consider your build as successful. For example, if you have more than 1% of error, we're going to mark this as a failure. It's the same if we have, for example, less than 100% of successful execution. It's the same, that will be marked as failure. So it's the same. I'm going to illustrate this concept here. So we're going to add this step. It's really simple. For example, here I have the execution of this performance test. We're going to check this. We need to add another step here. We're going to add a shell step. This is the path to the folder in which you have this configuration. So in this case is this test JMeter Taurus YAML, sorry, and we can save this, and we can build this execution. And because this is a performance test, the only way we need to force an error is, for example, to stop the container. In my case, no, this is a really simple way to force an error. So for example, we can build here and here we have well, we have our unit test with no error. We have our quality gates with no errors here, and here we have our performance test, and this is telling us that we have 100% of failures in this case. So this is saying that we are not passing this condition, and the execution is marked as a failure. So, and if we came back here and quality, well, here we have no errors in quality gate, but we have an error in the execution of the performance test. So we're going to up the container here, and for example, if you have all your quality gates in green and all your unit tests in green, and only your automatic tests are failing, that means that, for example, you probably have errors in your infrastructure. We're going to build again this. I want to keep this video shorter. I want to keep it really long, and we're going to check what happened here. Unit tests, quality gates, and now it is executing the automatic test, and we have 0% of failures. We have some statistics here, 100% of successful execution, and now we have success here. No? We have, for example, quality is true, and this automatic test success. So now we have a success execution, and that is how we can integrate all the exercises that we were watching in other videos. So that is for now. Maybe I am going to translate the integration with Sonar and Jenkins, well, I hope we can continue this project together. Thank you for your time, bye bye.